Now if I look at the reflection channel, anytime I'm looking at a reflective object, I want to make sure my background is set to the checkerboard, and I'm going to make sure I'm looking at a spherical material. Right, so I change my diffuse channel. I can right click and copy that color if I wanted to as well. But for the reflection, it's going to be just black and white. And you'll see that there's no reflection happening because it's not reflecting any of the checkerboard pattern. When I click on the reflect channel, I go ahead and I pull the slider up, and then I begin to see part of that become reflective. Now if I apply that to my object, and it should be already applied, but just in case it's not, I reapply it. And if I do Shift Q on the keyboard, you can begin to see that the object begins to take reflective values of things that it sees. So it's picking up the shadow reflection, 3 balls in front of it as well. I can make it super mirror, right? So this is entirely reflective, so it's going to be basically a mirror. It's going to reflect everything. Go somewhere around there. Some of these other things we'll get into as we get more in depth in the material creation process. When I look at refraction, so refraction is a different way of saying opacity. So anything that has opaqueness to it is going to have an index of a refraction. And if we look at our object here, so an index of refraction, right, is going to have a light ray coming in. Right, part of it's going to bounce off, the other part's going to go through the object, and what you see is the bending of that light ray. So it's obviously then opaque because you can see the light bend through the object. Now different values for the index of refraction are listed below that graphic. Water is 1.3, glass is 1.6, wood, stones, concrete 3 and 4, plastics are at a 5 to 8. Right, so I would change this IOR at that point. Most of the time you're only doing glass because it's architectural renderings, so the default is usually fine. When I want to give the glass some opacity, I do that, and you can see a change there as well. And we're going to go ahead and move my block so I can see behind it. Right, and then if I click render, right, you'll see the bending of the light through the object here. I can see through the object in the back. The light bends as it hits inside the object as well. If I increase that index of refraction value to 8, I should have barely any light bend whatsoever in my object. All right, so I see a little bit happening on the chamfered edge. That's mostly it. And I see a little bit happening here as it's reflecting. Okay, so that's the basics of glass. So we can go ahead and name this material glass.